Welcome back to art class with Mr. Darby. Today we're going to draw a hot air balloon. So grab your things and let's get started. I guess the first thing we have to do today is decide how big do we want our balloon to be on our paper. So when I look, I have to make sure that I have room for the balloon and then the basket underneath it. And I just got some really crummy looking supplies here, but they're well used. So I got this seems too big for me, and this is actually for a filter for a ventilator mask for like airbrushing, and it seemed like the best size for my paper being turned this way. And I got this old cup that's got some glaze in it from some pottery, and it seems a little too small for what I want. And maybe if I put it here in the back at the bottom, I can make a smaller secondary hot air balloon later on. But for now, let's just go with this one. The first thing I want to do is trace it. All right, not the whole balloon. What I'd like to do is just go ahead and trace a little more than halfway. So if I go slow and take my time, pushing down on my circle, right about here, what you'll see is that we have this nice round balloon shape. If you trace the whole way around, it wouldn't be right, because in reality, a hot air balloon, it starts to come down at the bottom. So I'm going to bring this in, and now I kind of just freehand a diagonal line right to about here on both sides. I'm going to make points here because I want to make sure that they come down to about the same spot on each side. So let's go ahead and drag our line from here down, and I can kind of arch this. It doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line. All right, and I had a mistake a little bit here from where I was tracing it. My pen went where I didn't want it to go, and that's okay. When we put our details in, nobody will know. And then here, I'll do the same thing, tracing down and kind of curving back in this way. All right, not perfect. I told somebody the other day that being a great artist most likely meant being really good at covering up your mistakes. And keep that in mind. All right, the bottom of the balloon, since we're looking up at it, what I'd like to do is make it an oval shape. So it's kind of like it starts here and it comes up and around and then connects. So we could see up into the inside. Let's take a minute and add some lines. So the first line you want to add, if you're doing it my way, would be right down the middle. And when you're looking at something that's round, the very middle of it is going to be a straight line. If you ever look on a globe, you'll see the longitude lines, and those are the lines that go up and down. And the one in the middle is nice and straight, and then the ones beside it start to curve a little bit. So here I'm going to decide to make another one going down, and I kind of start to curve it in the shape of the balloon. And it's left me room for one more of these. So I'm going to take from here, I'm going to go down, following it, and then kind of staying in the middle of all the lines. And then at the bottom, we just want them to be spaced out enough, all right, so that you can seem like they're kind of symmetrical. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So on the right side, we're going to curve it just a little bit and bring it in and down and connect. And then one more. So I'm going to come over here a little bit, curve, try and keep it symmetrical. It's really nice. The next thing we can do is we can find the middle. All right, well, because the bottom of this is curved, it's not a straight line across, it's got a curve to it, and we can see up inside. We want to make our lines also rounded. So the top of the balloon is around, and then all I'll do is I can just kind of go like this. I can just make a line coming up and then back down. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Up and back down. We'll do one more. Up and back down. And now look at those curves, those lines, as few as they are. It already makes it look like it's round and you can kind of reach out and grab it. A little more realistic. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is make our jets kind of for the gas that catches fire and heats the balloon up and takes it way up into the sky. And let's go ahead and make these strings kind of come down from this side, one, from this side, one, and then we can kind of make one here and one here. Let's do it from the back so it's short. So this one's closer to us and this one's the farthest away. And this will be a rectangle inside. When a rectangle lays down, it's more like a parallelogram, right? So you can't really tell. So I'm going to make a line across the back and a line across the front, and then I can kind of connect them all. All right, like that. In the middle, we'll make a rectangle. Now, I only made this one line thick. If you're drawing it small like I am, one line thick is fine. If you're drawing it really big, you're going to want it to be a little thicker so you can add a second line. And so in here, we can make our rectangle shape. This will be where the gas goes up, and then we can actually make it look like it caught fire up in here. So we can just make, this is our fire. We'll put a little line up inside there and just make it wiggly. It doesn't have to be perfect. I keep saying that today. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right. And then here in this, we can just add some details. So I'm going to add a couple more lines. All right. Maybe even a vertical line. Just like that. Now, when the pilot pulls on the string at the bottom, it throws the gas up in the air and catches fire, and now the balloon starts to float. From here, we're going to make another line that comes down. One. These are kind of the rails that hold the basket. Two. All right. Just a long, skinny rectangle. Then we can do it over here. Let's go at the bottom of that shape. 1, 2. There. And on this one, right on the corner, we're going to come down a little bit further so we can make our basket 3D. 1, 2. And then what I'd like to do, and before we put the fourth support down, let's go ahead and make that basket. So let's connect right at the bottom. Let's make a diagonal line. And here we'll make our basket have a straight line down. Now should not be a diagonal. And then this one comes down also a little further so that this top line and the bottom line are as parallel as possible, right? The next thing we want to do is have a horizontal line coming straight across. And if I do that, it doesn't touch. We'll fix that in a minute. And then I want to bring this down to make a rectangle. So I can draw my line straight across, just like that. Now here, we can just kind of build this up like it's connected. It's got a support. We can kind of do that here and here. All right. We can also draw our other line down. It's going to be hiding back here. So let's go ahead and draw that support. Comes down. It's connecting to the far corner. We can't see it. But now we put our diagonal line here and we connect it at the bottom like this. Like that. Okay. Since this is the bottom, we can shade this in with a few diagonal lines. And we can also make this look like a basket. So we'll do some vertical lines here and here. We can also do here. And then these ones on the side can be diagonals like that. And then we have our basket. I was looking at some of the baskets because I thought they had, weights hanging from them. They don't all have weights hanging from them, but the weight would be like a little bag, and we can just draw that right over the top here. If you want, it's almost like a teardrop. Comes up and in, and then I'm going to just put some more lines in here like this. All right, now let's make some thickness to the top rail of our basket. All right, and then we can actually shade that in a different color, adding some extra lines here. All right, we'll see more of that whenever we color it in. And then I think we should do like an outline of a person, don't you think? So let's do a rainbow shape. Maybe two rainbow shapes side by side. Okay, that's the person's body and the person's shoulders. There's two people. Then we can do a head, and we can do another head, and then here we can just make it look like an arm is reaching up. Pulling on there, all right? And then we can color them in black so they look like they're in silhouette. That saves everybody some details. Details aren't easy, but they're also far away. So if you want to add hair and things like that, it's going to be hard to see when they're far away. All right, what could we do? We can add some clouds up here. Let's go ahead and add some clouds up here. So here you have clouds, and I think that we could do it like this. Watch. Don't make them all the same size. Make them have variety like this. If you're going to add the bottom of the cloud, sometimes it flattens it out. We don't like that too much. So let me put another set of clouds down here. Same way, okay? So that you can see it. Let's go big, small, bigger, right? And then smaller. It's really all we need to do. We could put a sun up here, you know, if you want to do a sun in the sky, maybe down here. Just don't put it in front of the cloud, because if you put a sun in front of the cloud, it'd be way too close, right? The sun in front of the cloud would mean that we would probably burn up. That'd be gross. All right, so now I guess it's just time to color it. You know, if you want to add, there's so many other details you can add, because some of these balloons have ropes hanging from them. They hang down. I'm going to keep it basic, but I want to encourage you to go look up a picture of a hot air balloon online, because you'll see a lot of really beautiful hot air balloons. Once you have this basic shape, you can also add details to it, as long as you're doing it with pencil and not marker. I've seen these things look like elephants or cartoon characters from shows that we like, and some things that are really elegant, even birthday cake. So check out some different designs. You can make them, but I'd say the really important part is the area that connects to the hot air balloon, and we've made that very simple for you. Let's grab our markers and get started. We'll see how pretty we can color it. And that's how you draw a hot air balloon and color it. I hope you had a good time drawing with me today, and I'll catch up with you guys again real soon.